All right, so yesterday in class, we took our illustration and we used the transfer paper and we moved it out to one of the sheets of mixed media paper in preparation to paint. We are working towards a full color illustration of the human eye that is painted. So here is a finished example of an eye illustration, and you can see both portions, the portrait and the eye, are fully painted in. It's a full color illustration. We'll talk next week about adding pen outline and adding our text sheet. So you can see that some of the white paper that is on my painting is in place so that I have room for my labels. So today we are going to begin painting your eye illustration. So a couple of things to think about as you paint. One, you have to paint both parts, right? So both sections get painted. You also want to think about making sure that you're keeping some of the structures the same color. So this is the same color all the way through the illustration, and that helps me to see and understand as the viewer that that structure that's here also wraps around the inside of the eye itself. So you want to make sure that you're thinking about that as you're painting. You also need to think about how far you want this kind of skin tone to go to kind of make your illustration feel complete. And those are all kind of components of the illustration that you get to decide for yourself. It can be useful for you to have your reference photo out while you're working on the painting process. Just so, pull it up on the screen so you can kind of see what does the reference, like for instance, for the eye look like, so that you have some like idea of how to color in your reference photo. And then you're just gonna go ahead and use the paint and begin painting. So I'm gonna use the philosophy that I can jump around a little bit and paint portions. Now, this can feel like a lot of like kind of little pieces to paint in, and you'll notice that I have very little water. The less amount of water you can use while you're painting, kind of the more control you end up having with the paint. It will dry a little faster as well, so that is kind of an additional sort of bonus. I want this a little darker so it looks like it goes underneath. This process obviously is going to take us a few days. You will not, I'm gonna say it again, you will not finish with the watercolor portion by any stretch today in class. So don't feel panicked or rushed or like you're going to need to finish the illustration all in one sitting, okay? So I'm going to paint this section, and now because watercolor moves with the water, I can't actually paint that next like level on the painting itself. So I will have to switch it up, and I will have to move someplace else. So I'm gonna paint this first like layer and then move to some other portion of my illustration to paint, okay? So I could paint out here. I could go ahead and mix up a skin color to start working on my portrait. And this is another thing you're gonna wanna pull your reference photo up for, so that you can see what complementary color combination you're gonna need to use for your own private, personal skin tone and portrait. So go ahead and begin painting today, and we will continue working on this illustration and painting the remainder of the week.